Hello, hello, hello. It's Myles Sergé here, and welcome to MS Live. Thank you for everybody. I can't even talk today. I'm just not with it today. I'm tired. But thank you for joining. Let's bring in my co-host. Ooh, I got you all in here. I kind of messed that one up, but hey, we're learning. Hello, Hello, everybody. Hello,
Hi.
Jen.
Good morning.
Yeah, it is morning time, so I guess I have I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I can't think today. That's what it is.
Brain fog.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That's it.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
need a few of these.
yeah. I don't drink. Was that coffee? I don't drink coffee.
Whiskey.
It's whiskey. It's whiskey.
Oh,
No, it's coffee. Morning.
situation's a lot worse. So yeah, again, welcome to MS Live. I am Myles Sergé. I'm here with my co-host D-KNOX. How are you today?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm always gonna say I'm awesome, even if I'm not. But that's what I need to say to trick my subconscious. So I will always have an awesome day. How about yourself, man?
Like I said, I'm tired. Overtime, yeah, it's nuts. But I'm grateful for the job. I have money. I don't have money, but I'm working to make money. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to make money. Thank you, Mary. Yep, thank you. I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah.
That's what's up?
Yeah. So moving right along, since I messed up the intro thing today, today we have the legend. I guess he's a legend. I don't know. I just remember when I really first started DJing, I used to see this name every fucking where. Angel Alanis. Who's this Angel Alanis?
Who's she?
House.
Who's she?
Exactly, right? Techno, everything. And there was a period, probably like mid 90s, that you were everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah. Every week there's a release with this guy's name on it. And it was mostly like, especially in the house, like the disco house kind of thing that was happening.
Yeah, that was a big, after the Heart House movement, in the Chicago Heart House movement, there was a lot of disco house.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, everybody was doing it. It's how I became a DJ. Everybody had turntables in my neighborhood.
Right. And he was everywhere. Everywhere.
Job and got turntables, and yeah. So the disco thing was a very interesting time because it was all MPC. How can you get away with it with just an MPC? No filter, no outboard stuff, right?
Right.
You had to be kind of you had to be clever.
And he was very clever.
So sometimes, yeah.
He was. So we have Mr. Angel Alanis alongside with one of the most smartest people I know in this world.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Miss Maria Goetz, how are you?
I'm well. Well, how are you guys? It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's been.
We miss you so much. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been. When did you guys move? It's been a bit.
We moved to Kentucky. It'll be 5 years ago this year.
5 years ago, yeah.
Which is crazy. It feels like yesterday.
Yeah, for real. Like last time I seen you, it was literally like maybe a month or 2 months before you moved.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I guess that was 5 years
ago.
It
was crazy.
Yeah, but we love it. I grew up here in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky specifically, and it's nice to be home. I have a huge family.
Yeah,
really huge family.
And now we have 4 cats. So
now we have 4 cats. Yeah, lots of cats. 2 rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. fun stuff.
4 cats in Chicago would have been a little bit tight. 4 cats here, there's enough room. It's still a lot of cats. And we didn't intend to have 4 cats. They happen,
Yeah.
Accidents happen.
Pets are good, man. I have a cat somewhere around here, but I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Mr. He's somewhere around here, but yeah. Donnell has cats too.
I have a brother and a sister that still don't get along.
Oh,
Yeah, had the girl 2 years before we took the brother because our friends out here they were moving back to Texas from Warsaw. So Callie, which is our little princess, we got her when she was really early. Like she didn't have a chance to really grow up with other cats.
Yeah.
Because her mom like died early, and then fast forward the tape, my mom calls me, oh, we're gonna be moving back. We still have the brother. Okay, we'll take him because for me, I was thinking she was gonna leave me alone in the middle
Yeah.
of the zoomies running off the bed over me like Peter Pan. So if her brother will be here, they'll be like reunited. It'll be cool. No, it's like a stranger coming up here.
That happened with ours too. They were both born outside the window well, so we were gonna
house. Yeah, it's
adopt,
long story.
keep one and adopt out the other two, but the mom started relocating them, and so we took in the remaining two. She ran off with the third. We could not find the third anywhere. We got her spayed. She came back. We kept one of the babies, so he's been like my baby, Puffin. He's the love of my life. I love him so much. And then she eventually brought the other brother back, but he lived feral for like 6 months or 7 before he like let us take him in, and now he's lived with us. He doesn't want to run away or anything. Like he's comfortable here, and he's they just do not get along, even though because
they're brothers.
They didn't grow up together either. But he's so sweet too. I love him so much. But he's a little feral.
Yeah, he still has a little ear chopped off on top where he got spayed or neutered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we all know we definitely got something in common because we all know how they use the little mind tricks to get you to do whatever, like the Jedi mind tricks, I call it, don't you?
Yeah.
and it works. When you think about it, you're cleaning the poop all day, feeding them. They're really telling you what to do, basically.
Yeah.
I got y'all beat. I got that little robot, and I got the feeder robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's the best thing ever made.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So I just make sure, he got his litter and his food, and I'm like, peace.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, they all have their personalities. The older cat, the black one, he was just here a second ago. My mom's cat. My mom passed away, and I ended up with him.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Thank you. But he's been the OG here in the house, and then Gur's the other cat we rescued in Chicago from a litter. So other than Kitty, which is my mom's cat, he was also probably a rescue from what she told me. He ended up at her doorstep. And I never really got to see him when he was really young. He used to hide from everybody. It wasn't until we rescued him when we actually got to find him and see him. And I used to visit her all the time. He used to just hide. So I don't know. You have a cat, Mom, but I don't see the cat anywhere. Where's this cat you keep talking about? So we don't really know how old he is. This is what I'm trying to say. But he's here. He's happy. They're all happy. This cat's trying to jump out the window. It's fine.
He's not happy.
He's not happy with this. I beg to differ. Bye.
Right? He's chilling. He's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
That's cool. So, we got some questions for you.
Uh-oh.
So again, this is like our 5th episode, and it's been going kind of good, I believe.
Until you ended up here. Until now.
Those episodes just get better and better. I learn more things.
The little technical issues.
But it's what it is, but that's what we're here for. We're here to learn, and
We're talking about music, but now we're just talking about cats.
Yeah, we're talking about cats, man. From what I know about you, and like each episode, I try to come up with like a title for the episode, and this one is
What up, Doc?
What up, Doc? If you know these two, there's a reason why I chose this. So, and first question to you: how did all the things with the rabbits? How did that come about? If you do or don't know,
she'll take this one.
They love rabbits and they're everywhere.
They are so cute. I've just always loved them since I was little. Like they're good for nothing, but like they're just so cute. Like you can't pick them up and hold them like a cat, but I mean they're like cute and fluffy and tough when they get mad. And I mean, you've ever seen a rabbit fight another creature to like save its baby? Like they can be so fierce. But I've just loved rabbits since I was little. I had two rabbits growing up, and when we first the second place we lived together when we lived in Indianapolis, and we were living together after school, and he bought me a rabbit, and then the rabbit distribution system happened just like with our cats, where we got another rabbit that needed a home, and then they didn't love each other, so we wanted to find other rabbits. And I've just always loved rabbits. There was a rabbit shelter in Chicago,
Red Door,
yeah, that
amazing place,
had rabbits to adopt, and then you could take your bunny on speed dates where you'd have your bunny, and then they would bring potential suitors or mates, and you'd like pet them, make
very
sure they're
serious
okay.
process.
Oh yeah,
For real.
yeah,
it's tough. You like make sure they're okay, and then they'll fight and go crazy, and you got to separate them. And I don't know, rabbits are just so cute, but I love that they're like adorable, but they can be so fierce when they need to. But they're just so sweet. I mean, they just sit there and you can pet them all day, and I just have always adored them.
Yeah, and we let them run around when we had a couple of rabbits that were you could not let them run around because they would eat cables, and you know that's they just eat stuff. But
I don't recommend rabbits though. They're messy.
They're messy.
They're good for nothing, but they are so cute.
Good for nothing.
They're good for nothing. Yeah.
That's an EP title for me now.
Good for nothing.
Good for nothing. EP.
Yes.
Have a picture of a rabbit somewhere in there.
Good for nothing rabbit.
Yeah. They're so cute though. But yeah. So, and he supports my rabbit addiction, obviously. Yeah.
I think they're awesome. But
So
they're a lot of work.
Good for nothing.
Angel, until you guys met, you wasn't really into rabbits until you guys met, right?
Well, I was allergic to rabbits.
Oh, well, how does it work?
And cats. So having pets, even some dogs.
Wow.
So, and being around animals in general was a bad thing for me. I had the worst allergies, like seasonal allergies to environmental, dust, you name it. I had it.
We actually got allergy testing, and because he really like when we were dating and he would come to my parents' house, like he couldn't even go on the first level where the cat roamed. Like we would have to do Christmas in the basement.
Yeah, it was instantaneous.
But he had allergy testing, and his top 3 allergies, like no kidding, were hay, cat dander, and Kentucky bluegrass. Like grass, but specifically Kentucky bluegrass.
Yeah, let's move to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And they're kind of there.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, but yeah.
Yeah, but they gave me some allergy treatments that went on for about a year, where they increase they inject you with everything that's you're allergic to, and they increase the dosage over a certain amount of time, and it worked. Whether it's psychosomatic thing or whatever, it's working great. So now we have tons of animals.
Yeah.
So
no Claritin is needed.
Just for the seasonal stuff.
Not as much.
Not as much. Yeah, I'm not dosing as much stuff as I used to. I used to take Benadryl, Claritin. Benadryl was horrible, but it put you to bed. I used to get like some shots. I used to break out as well, like hives and stuff like that. Probably from the stress of the allergies. Who knows? But yeah, so I'm a lot better now, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, yeah, it's I've seen a thing like rabbits. Where did this come from? But it's cool though, you know what I mean? And like I've never like held a rabbit. I've never, they scare me actually.
Therapeutic.
They're cute. Yeah.
You also gotta save some of the animals. Like those are animals that when people buy them during Easter, for example, and then they get the animal, they get the rabbit, and the kids lose interest, and then they're stuck with this rabbit they have to clean after. Then they throw them out in the street. and then they end up at our house because they think that rabbits are just live anywhere, and they can't. Domestic rabbits are domesticated for a reason. They'll never survive in the wild.
See, I would never have known that until you just said that. I just thought,
Yeah, like one of the rabbits we got, it was 2016 or 15 at this point. She's pretty old, but Angel had left. I think he was in Berlin. He might have been in Berlin with you or something.
With you, I think
but
so.
he like messages me and he's like, "Hey, there's a rabbit on the west side that was outside my friend's house, and she just threw a cage and had to go to work, but like it was clearly a baby and clearly dumped or something. So I had to go out to West Side in Chicago and to
rescue this rabbit.
into the backyard, and this poor rabbit, so small, was just like terrified with a little cage over it, but just like let out. It was shortly after Easter, I think, too. So
one,
clearly little one. Yeah, she's not little anymore,
no,
but
she's big.
Yeah, so just like a baby that had been left out and surely would have died. There were 2 dogs in between it, like barking, and it was just terrified. Yeah. So
we do our best.
Yeah. But they're so cute.
And speaking which, I can see right behind you, somebody back there going on the
cat.
Climb. Yep.
Oh, that's Gur. Yeah, that's a big,
Hi, Gur.
I could probably grab him and bring him over here.
Meow.
Yeah.
When he was a baby, he let me see if I can
show and tell.
Show and tell. Why not?
Yeah.
We used to just hold him like this when he was a baby, so he's okay with this.
Okay.
But he's looking at me like, stop it.
What the hell are you doing, man? Put me down.
Yep.
But he's sweet. He lets me do that.
Yeah.
Still.
That's cool, man.
Anywho. So
go ahead.
Music talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely gonna pick your brain on things down that road.
What you
Ask
got?
some questions.
What you got?
Well, I do. I did want to ask him. Did you ever play on some of those Davy Dave parties back in the days, like when he had some of those parties in the high school gymnasiums? For example.
I don't think so.
But you know Davy Dave, right?
Yeah, I know. Wow, that's a name. I never thought I would think of again.
Is that a
Dave, what was the name of his company?
I forget that too, because he booked me a few times in the like in the high school. I remember it was this. He's like, I want you to do a live show, and I still have the flyer from that. Octave One was supposed to play. That's the first time I met Paul Johnson. K. Alexi was there. A few other people right now. I just can't remember. But when we got there, he said, come to this address. And I remember parking the car. I was like, this is a high school. And then I started bringing my keyboards and everything and whatnot inside.
Yeah.
Cool. And what was happening was it was having like a pep rally. Like, so they were all up in the bleachers. Some principal was talking. And then I'm like in the background carrying my stuff up to the part where he says to bring it to, and in different stages, like first the keyboards and the drum machines. And then as we were setting up, they're like, all these kids were like leaving. I said, man, this kind of crazy. But later, it was packed full of people. But I just said, man, this is in a high school gymnasium. Then I remember Paul Johnson just coming, like watching me set up everything. And then we were talking, but it turned out pretty good. And then, after that, he booked me for like Hard Rock Cafe. No, I'm sorry, not that. It was a House of Blues or something. And again, I was playing with Octave One and some other people, but that one was pretty good actually in there. But I just wondered if you had ever played on some of his events.
Maybe with Frankie, through Frankie. I'm thinking of going back because I think when he was doing parties, I was really new. Sort of just coming into this is like early 90s, right? So he's probably there before I was doing anything. I may have played a party of his with Frankie Vega.
Okay.
Frankie will probably correct me on that. But I'm pretty sure that I was getting into the scene as far as throwing parties and as a DJ. I was a DJ since forever before that, but I was playing in my basement, you know.
Yeah.
And we started Mush Groove, the company. I don't know if you heard of that company. And started doing parties with Incredibeats. Way after I think Dave was already doing stuff. He was in the scene way longer before I was,
Okay.
or any of us. But I don't think that I played any of his parties. I don't remember playing any of his parties. I remember playing drop bass parties. I remember playing our parties, ATP, stuff like that. But Dave, I think, was there before me.
Oh, okay. Anything like Red Dogs, Kabooms, any
Oh
nights?
yeah, that was
there?
way later when I started making a name for myself in the city.
Okay.
Might have played Red Dog once, but not Red Dog, and maybe the Material. I was doing a thing. Material was doing a party over at Red Number 5. Playing there a couple of times. Like Derek Hardy used to play there. That's where I met Colette.
Okay.
Time. That was that place is gone now, but the place was pretty cool. But not a lot of places. I mean, I was not really a big DJ back then. I just DJed here and there. I traveled. I didn't do much travel. I traveled mostly in the Midwest, in that little area, like Wisconsin, Iowa.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We
like
all done that too.
Yeah. So I was really new at the time, especially in the city. I wasn't like just hanging out. Just had my records.
Yeah.
I remember driving to Toronto for Destiny. If you remember Destiny, the company Destiny, you ever heard of them? In Toronto, they used to do like huge parties out there.
Seems like it's not coming back now, but probably.
Yeah, they used to do like these huge, like mega raves, like with 10,000 people, 5,000, maybe 10,000 is over. It's a little bit more. I'm over exaggerating that, but I think it's like the biggest parties in North America at the time. A lot of drum and bass.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Trance. I remember that's the guy who used to play there all the time. We used to go see like. We couldn't get drum and bass in Chicago yet. This is before anybody even knew what it was here.
Okay.
So I used to drive with a buddy of mine, drive to Toronto from Chicago. And I remember one time I was so new, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I took my box of records. I was that guy. Can I DJ? You guys got a spot for me? I'm from Chicago. Oh, it was so embarrassing. But you have to throw your shot. You have to make an effort. And my friend was like, "What are you doing? Like, why not? Who knows? Maybe they'll be like, yeah, sure, hop on the deck." No, that wasn't gonna happen. But those I remember we were driving up there a lot just to hear drum and bass. Because we were like, this is the best. I used to love drum and bass back in the day. I still do.
Yeah.
But nobody knew what the hell it was here. And that's as far as I used to drive to go to a party. It was Toronto. And then I ended up in some drop bass parties. Like I saw Hyperactive for the first time up in Wisconsin. So as far as Dave goes, I think he was just throwing parties and I was just a DJ.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I wasn't really doing much. I was networking.
Man, Chicago. I mean, you probably could sell 10. I don't know, maybe 10,000 records alone in Chicago. Maybe
Me sell 10,000 records.
Some people were.
No. I had 10,000 records. I spent most of all my money on records, for sure.
We've all. I can't even. I can't count the hours.
Working in a record shop is the worst thing for your pocketbook because everything is cheaper.
Which shop did you work at?
I worked at Hip House.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That was like where Hyperactive worked. Phantom 45. Frankie Vega worked there. And that was a good experience. Josh Mosley, he owns Chicago Jacks. He worked there. I mean, we all have a history with that place.
Okay.
When I started working there, I every record. Like, I would buy records I didn't even know I liked. I just like, oh, this sounds cool. So I ended up with a ton of records I would never play ever again because they were like $3 or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
That
yeah.
band.
The manager used to hate us. He's like, you guys can't just buy all the inventory because I can't sell it to the customer.
Yeah, the band. That band. I love that band. It's like, oh, okay, I don't have to spend 12 or
Discount.
10
Yeah,
on the import.
discount.
You know,
That's why I'm working here. I'm not working here. You're not paying us much.
Right.
I'm getting records, I'm getting records for cheap. But we had we did a great job of selling the records we did have. We used to like, especially with having Frankie Vega and like, or did Frankie Vega work there? I think he was working at Hot Jams at the time. Frankie Vega worked at Hot Jams, so it was Josh Mosley, me, Hyperactive, Phantom 45 worked there, and then you had Third Rail is a hip hop guy. He was really cool. And who was the other guy who you probably heard of? I can't think of his name right now. There was somebody else that worked there. A lot of us worked there. We had they had to make tons of mixtapes from all these DJs. He used to sell them at all the malls. So you used to have to go to the mall and buy all these mixtapes. They had they had little kiosks with little guys sitting there selling mixtapes, like Hot Mix 5 mixtapes.
oh, okay.
And like Bad Boy Bill mixtapes and mixtapes we would make ourselves. Third Rail had his own line of mixtapes.
Mhm.
So all the malls had I don't know what they called the store, but they had mixed. It might have been Hip House, and we sold mixtapes to everybody.
Yep.
Like every store had their own line of mixtapes,
Right.
and we had shops all over the city.
I'm so crazy.
That was the thing, in Chicago.
Yeah, no, that was a great thing at that time because you could
Mhm.
just get a nice mixtape and just end up taking the pencil back and trying to put it
up. Yeah.
after playing it so much, taking it out of the deck.
Yes.
A lot of people still have a lot of the mixtapes. I have probably a few left over stashed away somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I have nowhere to play it.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, some people have gone out of the way to digitize some of that stuff.
Right.
And you can find some of those mixtapes online if you want to search for them. They're out there.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the rave mixes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure on YouTube or something. And wasn't someone trying to sell them on Bandcamp not too long ago?
I'm
think
sure.
somebody.
I don't know. That's weird.
I don't know. I want to take the chance. So I mean, copyright stuff and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But, yeah, that's crazy. So you did say, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You got
Oh, no, you did say something. You like early in the conversation, like, how did you say it? I think you said when I made it, when we were talking about your career wise. Like I said earlier when we first started.
people started talking to me.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, like when I
hi. You don't look like you're 12.
when I first started noticing the name, it's like it was everywhere, like every week.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you had at least like 5 releases a week.
Yeah.
It seemed like that, like all the time. I'm like, who the hell is this? Who's Angel Alanis? Angel Alanis. It's always...
Tell them about your first record.
So yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Thank you, Maria. What was your first record? And then what was the first record? What was the first record you ever did? Okay, and that's Hyperactive label.
Hyperactive label, yeah. Right. I did. We knew each other, but we weren't like best friends yet. Like I would just see him at parties. I used to drive out to see him at shows. This is kind of how it all happens, right? You network by meeting people. I didn't make an effort. He was DJing every single party he would be at, especially in.
He's hard to miss.
He's hard to miss. He's hard to miss. Yeah, and so I had got his number. We were talking, and I think we were gonna meet up. I have a shoebox full of hats of tracks I've been making on this really crappy studio I had put together. It's like, yeah, bring them over to the house. I want to check them out. So I brought over literally a shoebox that's full of dats, so random songs I was making. And he got back to me a week later and picked out a double pack's worth of releases. And at the time, I was working on the Orbit. Remember that little synthesizer Orbit, EMU Orbit? It's like this little rack mount thing that has sounds. And It was an MMT8. You don't know what that is. MMT8.
Let's keep that secret. You guys didn't hear that. It was at least his drum machine.
Yeah, if you can find one that works.
Everybody had one, and everybody had it.
They're amazing because you can bring stuff in and out. You can mix. What I used to do, I used to mix all the few channels into one MIDI channel for one synthesizer and create all these slides and create different rhythms, right, with a few of the banks, and that's why I liked it. And what else did I have? I had like a Mackie 1604, which is everybody had one of those, the mixing board. Yeah, it just had a perfect distortion when you cranked up the trims on that. It was great. What else did I have? A few foot pedals. I had a couple Roland fuzz boxes, distortion pedals, delays. Not a whole lot.
All right. So what was the release? What was the track? The
Advanced Therapy.
That's what it was. I have to go.
Double pack. I don't know. Josh Mosley just did like a remix package from that. I don't know if you've seen that. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that.
He got a bunch of people to remix. He got like Ghetto Blaster and a bunch of Chicago guys, and that was cool. They just ripped all the music off the record, which I don't have the parts to it anymore.
Right.
It was all analog. I didn't record parts. It was just me on a machine recording it in one take or several takes until I got the one I wanted.
Right.
Which was the process back then, right?
Right. It still is.
It still is. Not in my case. No, like we have machines here, and I still recorded everything to the computer, and I do all my edits, and we sit there and we pick out stuff we like, and then take out the stuff we don't like, which is kind of not cool, right? I think you should make it raw. I mean, I don't know.
You're the one that does that.
I know. I don't like that part.
Yeah.
Who knows how many tracks we've passed over because it's it changed from the original vibe of what you were doing live, and you get stuck in your own little world when it comes to computer, right? You're stuck in this box.
Yeah.
And then you have everything in front of you. It's like I want to change it. It ends up being 5 different songs, right? You guys know about that. I'm just lazy like that. I guess after years of doing this, you become lazy, I think.
Right. So that crazy thing, it was like I said, we met in Berlin. It was, I think, my second time there or something, and you had posted you had just got there, and I think you were staying wherever you were staying, the place wasn't ready, and you had posted something on Facebook or something like, hey, I need a place to crash for a little bit, and I just happened to be kind of close where you were. It was, and then I'm like, hey, I got a place, you guys can come crash here, just come. And you guys came over, and it was like from there, that was the moment, man. So
was it us? No, it was me.
Both of you.
Was it us? Okay.
It was both of you. It was both of you. I don't know if it was a hostel or it was something, but
it was a hostel. Yeah, that place is cool. That place is still there. Recommended, but if you can get in there.
All right.
It's what's the address there? It's
Wienerstrasse.
It's on Wienerstrasse. It's 12 or 21 Wienerstrasse. It's like this little hostel there. It's but you get your own room, and it's super cheap. It might not be cheap anymore, but it was the perfect spot because you're right in Kreuzberg.
Right
smack in the middle of everything.
Right. I wasn't far. And
you weren't far from there.
Like, hey, I'm close. Come through.
I remember that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. And ever since then, it was like I didn't know. We had linked up, and you came through, and you guys crashed out. I did something else, but you were going to actually meet Alan Oldham.
Yeah,
I've met Alan one time before that, but we really wasn't. I didn't know him, but you were like, I know Alan. So it was cool. So I got to actually really meet him and hang out with. It's because of you, really.
Oh, really? I mean? Oh,
yeah. I mean, we, like I said, I've met him once before, but it was Alan.
Yeah.
That's my dog. Shout out to Alan, but
I love Alan.
Yeah, I love him too, man. But it's like, but when we went out and got some food or something, which I'll come back to the food thing because I know I love food, and this guy loves food. So we went to eat, and we just kind of talked, and it was cool. And that's how we kind of really started our friendship because of you. So thank you for that.
Yeah, get a hot dog or a doner with Angel and like friends from
Yeah, that was
Friends for life. Yeah, I mean, honestly. Yeah.
I was like, oh hell. He's like, come on, man, I know the spot. It's like €3.
Oh yeah,
And it was the
those were the
best shit
days.
ever, man. I was like 4 all day. So when he comes to food, and like me and him, we came. We've been to Chicago like before they left, like at least 2 or 3 times, and they took us to like this. Like I've never been to like I'm not a big sushi place, but it was a sushi place that they took us to, and it had the little train thing.
Oh yeah, we took him there.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I missed that place. That place is cool.
Yeah.
It had snowball, but
Yeah. He was like, yo,
Snowball,
you got a snowball.
You gotta try the snowball. It's delicious.
And I was scared because, like I said, I don't really eat sushi, but it was so fun. It was good. You know what I mean? And I know Emily, she went like after that, she was like, what's that place that Angel took us to the sushi place? I'm like, I don't know. But she found it. And I think after that, she was the last time she went, they closed.
Oh no!
Oh, really? Oh.
You're always
They're not there anymore.
yeah.
Just so you know, they have opened not the same place, but there's like 2 or 3 new places in Chicago. I think like the Rotary sushi thing. I don't know if they're as good, but I'm sure they are. We haven't been back in so long.
Yeah.
We're going back there
3 weeks. That's the Underworld.
That's the Underworld. Underworld playing there at Radius. Check them out. Hang out with some friends. Get some sushi.
Oh, man.
Or maybe just a taco or something. Who knows? Yeah. There's so much to eat in Chicago.
Yeah, it is, man.
Oh yeah.
I didn't used to like
nonstop food,
but everything coming back, you know, from living from England, and I came back and started going to it more. I like it. It was like the closest thing that I had that was close to being in Europe. Like to feel with the big city and people and transportation stuff like that. So I used to hate Chicago. I never liked it. Up until
I don't blame you. The traffic sucks.
The traffic.
The winter suck. Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys don't get the winter like we get it. You get the, you know, it's cold and you might get a little dust or snow, but we get dumped on.
I think we got 30s was the coldest. Yeah. 30s, 30. Yeah. Lower 30s. Up
here.
Here.
Yeah. It's not as bad here.
No.
This winter was hard. But
this winter was long and hard, and we had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Chicago can get dumped on. It's just so windy in the winter too. So windy.
That cold like cut through you, man. It's like
yeah, I know.
I still have a lot of family there too, man.
Yeah.
I used to go there. My mom used to make me spend like half my summers in Chicago and half in Detroit.
Really?
She wanted to get rid of me for the summer. So I'd be at like one aunt's house. That's like, let's say my grandfather's sister. And down the street, like someone on her mom's side, like an uncle on the same street as someone on her dad's side. I might be going to stay with them for a few days. And then over to this cousin's house. That's how I was able to start hearing some of the Chicago, like the guys back in the days, like Mike Hitman Wilson, Bad Boy Bill, and everybody on the radio because of some of my cousins. But then the same thing in Detroit. Like I would have to go to Detroit and stay 6 weeks with my cousin. Then I would be hearing Jeff Mills, as a wizard on there. But I remember some of them early times in Chicago. But like now, I still have relatives over there. My grandfather is still close to that Toys R Us is still over there by South 91st Street. He's like
probably is.
Yeah.
But I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did want to ask you guys, because I don't really know everything. Like, how did you meet firstly? And that was like, what are you doing some like music together, right? This is a story. And then how did that come about? Where did it start? And let's get some of the.
We have mutual friends in the Midwest, and that's usually how it happens. You hang out with a friend, and they're with somebody, and then you're like, we get along. And that's basically we met at a bar here in Cincinnati.
You met in Cincinnati. Okay.
Yeah, in Cincinnati, actually. Yeah.
WKRP. Yeah.
Yeah.
This song just got in my head. I was doing a benefit party for a friend of a friend, a cancer benefit party, and she happened to be there with another friend, and we hit it off.
Yeah.
What did you think about him, like for real?
Huh?
Don't lie. What did you think about it when you first seen him?
Okay, this is gonna be cheesy, but it was like love at first sight. Like I saw him across the bar. I didn't know.
I don't know why.
There was not techno in Cincinnati. So like my friend and I discovered it through her boyfriend, and we would just be like, "What is this?" Like we had never heard anything like it. And I mean, I was, 20 at this point. Like it just wasn't as ubiquitous as it is for you guys here in Cincinnati. So I had no idea who he was, but I was like, he is so cute. And my friend was like, well, that's Angel. He's gay. He's here with his partner, Rupert, because he had introduced like his partner, Rupert. He was there with Rupert and Maria Stamper. I think they were all three there. And I was like, I don't care. I think he's so cute, and flirted and hit it off. And then he was still in Chicago. And so we just texted from then on. And then he ended up going to move into Louisville. And it was just one of those, like, we just kind of texted and then kind of started dating long term, and then came here, and that's how that all started.
Yeah, then she became interested in DJing and
mostly making music. I would watch him make music. Like he came and lived here after Louisville. He lived here with me while I finished school with our friend, and I would watch him make music. And I was still in school and busy with that, but once I finished, I would watch him just make music and got really interested in it. And so mostly would start trying to make music, and also kind of learned how to DJ. Like I mixed two Chai's Revenge songs together to learn how to beat match. I'm not good at it because CDJs were already like, prevalent at that time, and learn it. I didn't ever feel the need to like really learn and get proficient with vinyl because
I was trying to give her some pointers, like how I learned how to DJ is grab two of the same records. And try to make those work. And then I think the best advice you give anybody to DJ, once you get comfortable with the equipment's always the one thing that I feel when I get in front of a zone mixer, for example. The first time I was like, what the hell is this thing? There's so many freaking buttons, and you're kind of like freaking out a little bit, and you're trying to find the Q button. You have to ask. There's probably videos of me asking, where's the Q button on this thing? For the headphones.
Still.
It's still, I don't have that much practice on it, right? So it's like one of those things. Once you get comfortable with the equipment, then you learn how to beat match.
Yeah.
Because you forget the equipment's no longer an issue. Now you have to learn how to get the two records. That's how I learned how to DJ when I first got my first Newmark mixer, my two bell-driven turntables, right? And my friend lent me a bunch of like freestyle records, and he had doubles of everything. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to borrow these records for a week, and within the first few days, I was beat matching. It wasn't hard because they're both the same record, but that's how it got me used to the equipment first, and then I tackled the whole beat matching thing. And I was trying to show her the same thing.
I can fumble my way through it.
Yeah,
okay, but
it's not rocket
reach
science,
the point where it's like, my brain has this amount of processing power. Do I want to use that to like beat match, or do I want to use that to like listen to the music and laziness? But mostly just like making music. And so I started making music on my own, and just like learning from him. I think music making is way more fun than DJing and way more interesting. So I did stuff on my own, and then when we went to college and I was back in school, I'm going back to school. School is the consistent thing in my life. I love it. But when we were married and when I was in school and had limited time, it was kind of like, okay, we were still making music separately for the most part, but it was like, okay, well, this is something that we can do together instead of going out on a Friday night, or it's just our way to hang out, instead of watching TV or something, we can just do music together. So that's kind of how it started, doing something that we do together instead of separate. It's mostly just so that we could do music and also watch TV.
And I had a full-time job.
Save some time.
When I had a full-time job, and she would be at home, and I would come home and she would have some beats started. She would have some stuff started already where we can work with this. We'll finish this one. We'll finish that one. And I actually found some stuff I've been going through with my old hard drives. I don't know if you ever done. I keep my hard drive, so I've been going through all like 10 or 15 hard drives I have in there of just old files, and I've been finding a lot of stuff that she started working on. Then this is like 10, 15 years ago, and I was like, these tracks are pretty cool. We need to finish these. We've been doing that.
good at starting stuff.
Yeah.
We both have our skills. Angel's great at finalizing. I mean, he's definitely the professional here. I have a pretty good ear for music. I'm not nearly as talented as him, but I'm good for I'm really good with drummy stuff and creating grooves and that kind of stuff. And so it works out. It's very symbiotic.
Yeah. So it's crazy because when I first met, I didn't know that you actually did music. And when I went back kind of doing some research and stuff, you have a nice catalog just by yourself. So I was like, wow, I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I got to go back and look. I was doing, I made some clips earlier and I'm like, damn, that's dope as hell.
Yeah.
You did by yourself. So it was like, that was dope. And so when you guys do your process together, I mean, I'm sure you have similar taste in music, but where do you differ? Is there?
You know what? We're kind of diverging at this point because I'm I love booty house. I love drummy stuff. I'm telling you, Jack and stuff.
Right.
So I'm very into the upbeat kind of Jack and stuff. And Angel,
she likes a lot of Speed Garage songs.
I love Speed Garage now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Angel's very melodic, and he drifts a little deeper. So yeah, we're kind of at a crossroads here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm good. I do most of the drummy stuff in the songs overall. And the
she'll
percussion,
program the hats and the toms and
Angel mostly the synthy kind of stuff, and then the bass is kind of both of ours. But those are kind of our what we gravitate towards, and I guess our strong suits, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of the newer stuff, you'll hear a lot of her hi-hat patterns they'll change a lot. And I'm not that kind of person that has that in my music personally.
Yeah.
But she likes it when everything's kind of has a little bit, which is good. That's where I become lazy. I'm I just want to have a straight hi-hat.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole song, very minimal, very 4/4, how we do. But she'll add she'll do other stuff, and I'm just we'll roll with that. That's cool.
Toms, I'm big on toms.
She'll program the toms. We have the Tip Top Audio Tom, 909 toms, which are great. And she programs that using the Arturia key step or beat step.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is how we create our polyrhythms with that, So yeah, we have a process. She'll do that, and I'll do this.
Yeah, that's cool that you guys do it together like that. Though.
That's dope. That is dope.
That is,
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DJing too is fun together too. It's just more fun to be up there with someone and hang out and joke around and stuff. And like I said, it was mostly born out of utility, but I do enjoy doing it with someone else or so.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So I think she does better by herself sometimes though. When she has her own, when she goes in her own, she'll take it from some techno, some booty house, and get into this houseier vibe, and then she spends more time listening to the stuff I do not. I just grab whatever's in front of me and pop it on there.
Just go.
I just go see what happens. Right. I have a different approach to DJing than she's more. She thinks about it. Obviously, she's a smarter one here.
Right. You know what I mean? I'm not to say you're not smart, but
she prepares. I do not prepare. I'm just I have a ton of music. I can find something that'll work, and I'll just dig out of that.
He's such a good DJ, though. He's got all the skill in the world. Yeah.
Hence.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys, you mentioned you playing together. So what's your favorite time ever playing together, and where? Where did you play in? And
oh, that's a great question.
Amsterdam was good. And we played in Stockholm. That was fun. For that one guy, Mickey.
That was fun. Mickey Craven.
No, Mickey Craven. We played with him somewhere else. No, that one. That one really. He was really cool, but he was always just throwing parties. Just based around us. It was I'm doing a party. You need to come. Remember that guy in Stockholm? This is ages ago.
It wasn't a Mickey of some sort.
No, Mickey Craven. You've met Mickey. Yeah. He didn't throw parties, however.
Okay. No, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah. We've had some fun times there.
Hopefully more in the future. Hopefully the best will be in the future.
Yeah. We've been busy after COVID and everything. It was just kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everything just went to, different priorities.
Actually, in Detroit last year, that was fun.
That was fun.
At the
Detroit was
Bang
really
Tech
good.
party.
Back that 12.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sound system was just like,
Yeah.
I never. It's such small space, so many speakers.
Yeah.
I mean, you felt it. It rattled you. Your clothes were just,
Yeah.
But that's
doing
the whole
this.
point. You're supposed to feel it.
Yeah. It was great. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Right.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
though.
was fun playing there.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll be back there again sometime.
Mhm.
We don't think we're going to Movement this year.
Okay.
Because we have
Mhm.
a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So I got another question for you.
Okay.
All right. Over the years, like Chicago, but what have you seen since you're kind of still there, but what's the biggest change you've seen in like the whole like Chicago scene, the whole experience within music? Like at some point, like I said, like it was on top. Like you had like Green Velvet and all this stuff, and Chicago was a place, and it just seems like it just, in my opinion, it just seemed like something happened, and it's everything. Mostly everything to me it kind of shifted away.
It's shifted in a different direction. I think it's still there. Radius now, big mega club. I don't know if you've seen pictures of it or been there. Radius is like it's in the south side, and when you get there, you feel like you're still in like Little Village or whatever, south side of Chicago. But then you have like just the whole neighborhood's like everybody's parking. I've never seen anything like that in Chicago. It's such a big venue, and then you have all these people from all over the Midwest coming there for these big, like we're going to see Underworld there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like Smart Bar still there, Spy Bar.
Okay. Yeah.
They're still doing a lot of shows. And they have a few new clubs opened up. What's that one by Frank's house? That one,
Pulaski.
Pulaski. It's a little Polish bar. They decided to open up a techno club in the middle of like I think Humboldt Park or
like Logan Square.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you never think there's a club there, but there is, and they have like artists playing. It's shifted and changed, and I feel like it's expanded to more people than before. It was just like you would go to a party, you would recognize everybody there. I've seen that guy, I know that guy, and it's always the same crowd. But now it's like you never know who's going to be there. It's expanded. There's more people come to Chicago now for nightlife than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's good. I think it's good for the DJs there and for the overall club scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's as close as it used to be, tight,
Well, it seems like like I said, like most of the bigger players at that one time, they're like not there. They all left. And I know money and other things, that's a big, factor in all this and that. But it seems like everybody just left. Either most of them all went to Europe, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Derek's still there.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not leaving Chicago, which one of the people I look up to as a DJ first, him and, Gene Ferris, another guy, I think he's still there.
Yeah, Gene's still there. Yep.
Yeah, Gene's still there. But a lot of people have shifted in sound. Like Derek's still Derek, but people have shifted to different styles of music. They no longer do like techno or trackier stuff. Like I think Trunky was mentioning this in the conversation online, where what happened to all the Chicago hard stuff, like the trackier stuff?
Yeah.
What happened to Relieve, how it used to be? And I don't know. Nobody knows why that stuff's not like they're used for a while. There was what's his face? I forget his name. He was making a lot of tracky stuff for a while and disappeared. But nobody's making that stuff anymore. It's starting to get a little jackier again.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's the same as it used to be. Like Sneak, like that style of music.
Now is Sneak still there, or
I don't think he's still there. No, I think he's.
I think he's out in California.
In California, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's been out there for a while, for a minute.
Mm-hmm. And now you have new generation of people, like you have like Microdot and all these other people doing I Heart Chicago or I Heart Techno. I think that's what they call it. Their label, and they have a whole other group of people there that they're doing their thing. I honestly haven't been paying much attention. Like with the Chicago Jacks people, they have their whole posse of people. And as far as there's a lot of new people come into the scene, which is great. You need that. I feel we haven't had that in Chicago in a long time. We haven't had like a research, like
a change
new talent. Yeah, for a while it's always been the same people for years. It's been like Keith Ferris, Sneak, Derek Carter, the same people over and over again. Where all the new people at, right?
Right.
I think there's a lot of that going on right now, which is good. You need that. But as far as like changing, it's just more people. I think it's more of a it's expanded to other like other people coming into the scene like you never thought would be there, like from the suburbs or other states, which is good. I don't really pay that much attention anymore, other than when I see online.
Right.
But for the most part, Chicago's still Chicago. You can't really say it's much different other than the way the vibe is and where they have new clubs opening up and new things happening. But artists come and go. People have left. You're right.
Right.
Don't really pay that much attention, honestly.
That.
Other than the people I talk to, like my friends that live there.
Speaking of your friends that you talk to, how did you meet Hiroku?
Hiroku.
Hiroku, yeah. She would probably tell you that she beat me up once back in the day or something, or I was robbing her car. I don't know.
No, she'll say that motherfucker.
That motherfucker.
Oh God.
That motherfucker. Why? We had a lot of mutual friends. Again, we go back to the old rave scene.
Okay.
She used to play a lot of drum and bass as Bio Booster.
Right, yeah.
And she's an amazing drum and bass DJ. She's an amazing DJ all around. I think she's very focused on. She's always been a great person. And we had a lot of mutual friends. We didn't know each other that well, but we met many times in the past.
Okay.
In different situations, different parties. I probably called her a name or something. Like, get the fuck out of the way, asshole. Why are you standing in front of me? You're blocking my view. I don't know. Good question. Maybe next time we'll have her on board.
That would be great. I haven't talked to her like you guys. Like, I had a couple of birthday parties, and I was grateful that they came. Angel and Roku came and played a few times in Grand Rapids. So I didn't think they were going to do it. They're like, yeah, fuck it, we'll go. They drove up and stuff. You know what I mean?
That was a fun trip.
Yeah,
I drove her crazy.
Yeah, because you drove her a car or something up here.
Yeah, we drove her car. She wouldn't let me drive it.
Yeah.
Like, no, motherfucker, you're not driving this car. That was fun.
It was cool, man. So they came up and stuff. I was like, they're not gonna come. And they're like, yo, we're trying to find a place to park. So they came.
I still have the shirt you gave me. I still have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they came.
There's a story behind that shirt, and I'm not gonna bring it up here.
All right.
I'll tell you about it later.
And they killed it. They did it twice, man. It was just like, you guys want to stay? No, we're gonna. And they drove right back.
Oh, okay. Like the good old days.
Yeah.
Right the thing and go right back.
Yeah.
No, towards the end of like, I've got what, few years back, I was just like going to. That was my thing. There was like Nigel Richards and some people like that used to have. That's a perfect idea. I used to fly in late. Well, it's not a great idea because if your plane's late, you won't make the gig. But fly in late, leave early. Get in, don't even get a hotel, go to the party, DJ, go straight back to the airport,
and leave.
And get the hell out. And I started doing that, and it was great because you would be home. You wouldn't have to deal with the hotel, and you wouldn't have to deal with but it would wear you out.
Yeah, your next day is like, forget about it. You ain't doing much else after that.
No.
At least you were home. As you said, you like, okay, I did the thing. I'm already back home.
Mm-hmm. Like, why linger, right? Why stick around?
Yeah,
some places are cool to hang out, but when you have stuff to do at home, you just want to be home.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, there's a few DJs that I used to meet. Just fly in and fly out. I think Nigel was one of those people, and then there was somebody else. I think Frankie Bones was doing that. I believe. Yeah, anyways,
I did it once too. I did that once too. When I played for Steve Bicknell at one of his Burndy parties, and I flew straight from Chicago.
Wow.
Played the thing, and then like basically left the club where he had the event at. Got right back to the airport, and Oliver was like Oliver Ho, because we became good friends when we met in Japan on a party for Fumia.
Big fan.
And that night I was supposed to play with Jeff Mills, but he had to do something else, and then it was like boom, right back to the airport. And then I remember trying to drive, because I basically drove to Chicago, left the car in the parking, and then when I came back, tried to drive back to Kalamazoo, like
oh yeah,
roll the window down.
It's a 3-hour drive, or 2.5-hour drive from Chicago to Kalamazoo. It's like halfway, isn't it?
No. It always take me about
an
hour and 40 minutes,
okay.
like that tops. About hour and 40 minutes to get back there, because I just be driving. Like I really don't really stop to get gas and all that. And I try to always keep it around 70. Even no matter what, just to get back, But there were moments where even one time Detroit, I had a party. I was coming back, and I fell asleep. I know I was asleep for a long time, because I fell asleep somewhere probably around just getting by the tire, and then when I woke up, it was like close to Ann Arbor, and I said, okay, next time.
That's scary.
Yeah, maybe just stay home or something, but yeah, I remember those days. But before I do want to ask you, Angel, something about like early days of Chicago. What was that like for you? Like kind of like growing up, and then when you started getting into music, and then some of the homies that you were meeting earlier that was also making music, like maybe KLXy or like you said, Sneak.
How far back do you want to go? Do you want to go back to when I first really started getting into music, or
even when you were a youngster, like were you playing the piano first, or the drums, or harmonica, anything like
pots and pans?
Yeah. The radio was a big influence, right? Going back, if you want to go back to being a child, like 14, 15 years old, that's when I started DJing, basically. And
what were you DJing? Were you DJing like hip hop or house?
I wasn't DJing anything at the time. I was just like I said, I grabbed some of my friends' freestyle records, and I was just practicing stuff. I didn't have like a thought about style or anything. I just heard dance music on the radio, and it was all the same to me. There was music coming out like Good Life and stuff like that was on the radio, or you had a lot of music that you would never think it was from Detroit. I didn't place any of that at all. I had no idea where it came from. To me, it was all Chicago house music, or whatever was on the radio. It was like you had WDCI, you had Amix 5, Farley Jet Master Funk, and all these different art and DJs on the radio. And we used to come home on the weekends, like on Friday from school, and pop a tape in and record all their mixes. And we used to like listen to the mixes over and over again. It was Josh Mosley is one of the guys I grew up with as a DJ. Okay. We still work together. He has the Chicago Jacks, and we went to high school together. And he'll tell you, like, we used to battle it out in the basement when I first got my first turntables. First of all, when I said I'm going to start doing the same thing, they were belt-driven techniques. They're the worst turntables on the planet. I made it happen, however. We very carefully put the record on and very carefully just kind of slide it in there without making it jump. That was tough. Had a Newmark or Gemini. I think it was a Gemini mixer. Then I got a Newmark. I upgraded to a Newmark mixer from a Gemini. And so the radio, my school friends, which eventually all got 1200s. I couldn't afford 1200 yet. My mom was like, no, so I had to get a job and get turntables. Later on, they were stolen.
What was your job? What did you work?
At Burger King. I worked at Burger King. Then I got fired from Burger King. Then I got rehired at Burger King.
You got Burger King? Like, what'd you do? Or what didn't you do?
I did everything there. At one point, I was cashier. I did cleaning. I went to fries. I was upgraded to fries.
You didn't do something.
Promoted.
Fired you.
Yeah,
what did you do to get fired?
I was showing a blade all the time.
Oh.
And my manager was like, "You're fired." I'm like, "Oh, fine, fuck off." And then he called me back later again. It's like, "We need you over here because nobody wants to do half the shit you do."
They're like, "Yeah, we're short people. You come in."
Yeah, because I would clean. I would clean the outside, spray wash. You didn't have to ask me to do it. I would just go do it, do different things there. And then he liked that about me, but didn't like that I didn't show up sometimes or was late all the time. And I worked with my dad. He was a roofer.
Okay.
He did roofing, and I helped him a lot, and he paid me a little bit of money here and there. And I did odds and ends, cut grass.
Cheaper off.
Yeah, I as when I was really young, I was making donuts.
Door-to-door donuts.
I was selling donuts. Door to door.
You know how to make donuts?
Well, I was using the biscuit, the biscuit. No, it comes frozen in the you roll it out.
Yeah,
those already made
for biscuits.
yeah. And I used to make shape them into donuts, and then fry them and throw them into powdered sugar or whatever I could find.
Are you talking about from the can?
Yeah.
And then you.
And I used to go to door and sell them to my neighbors.
That's
and they're like, sure. This was before I even started DJing. I was a little kid. I was already starting to save money and do stuff. I was working already. So I did that, and I worked with my dad, worked at Burger King.
The cookie factories.
Then I worked at a cookie factory.
What?
Yeah. What? I worked at a cookie factory. My mom worked there, and she got me a job there. You should come work with me. I'm like, okay.
You see the food connection? Like
yeah.
I'm
like cookies.
There's food.
Sounds amazing, Mom. Let's do it. Let's do it. You get all the cookies you want.
Wow.
We used to make cookies for all these different companies like Keebler. We made cookies for Kroger, Ralph's.
Angel was a Keebler elf.
I was a Keebler.
Keebler elf. Oh, man. Kroger, Keebler.
Yeah, I had all kinds of weird stuff. I did odds. A lot of odd jobs. But when I first got my first turntables, that's all I did was DJ.
That was the beginning of the end for
Angel.
Here we are.
And I don't know how I got hired at Hip House, but I made an effort to get a job at a record store because records were expensive. And I ended up working at Hip House for several years, and I records accumulated, and I had so many records at one point that I was like, I need to stop. Yeah, but anywho, and how I got into making music, my first drum machine basically came out of I think I started throwing parties first.
Okay.
With Frankie Vega. I met him at Hot Jams.
Good old Frankie.
Yeah. Frankie's everywhere. I mean, I don't really personally know him. I know we met a few times, but I think everybody I know from Chicago, there's a Frankie Vega connection. Like that's what's up. So
yeah, Frankie. I met him at the record store where he was going to school at Curie High School, which is on the way to Hot Jams for him, and I was going in the same direction. I'm not sure how I ended up there, but I met him. He was getting out of school, and I was there already buying records, and we met there. And I don't know how we hit it off, or what got us to talk to each other, or how. I'm not sure how that happened. He probably has a better recollection of that. But we started getting together and DJing, and then we started Mush Groove, which was like a promotion company we started, and we started throwing parties, and that's how I started networking. Honestly, more so than ever. When I started bringing in DJs, we started bringing in like different people from everywhere, getting Hyperactive, getting all these different people. That's how I got Hyperactive. I think just from throwing parties, and then going out to see him at different places. And,
right.
And so when after a few years later, after all the parties started dying out because there's a lot of issues with drugs and people were like literally passing out at parties because there was other stuff like GHB or something. Something bad was happening in the scene, and a lot of negative attention was coming towards us as a promotion company. Where I was like, we got to get out of this for a little bit, because there were busting parties. We're having issues getting DJs because nobody wanted to do parties. So it was a lot of problems.
Mhm.
There's smaller promotion companies coming in trying to do their own gigs,
Yeah.
doing it wrong, not getting security, not doing all the things that you shouldn't do where things would go wrong. So we're like, let them do it. Let's get out of this. I started making music because of that, because I was like, I still want to be involved in this somehow.
Right.
And we made all these connections with different people and got some gear, started making music. And that's how it all started with the music production. And it wasn't until after my first record, I met CZR. I met him randomly at a record shop. Yeah, another record shop, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was talking to me. We did a record together. One with he had a 303 and a 909 and a drum and a mixer, and we just put it together as a record. He had a record shop too for a little while.
Okay.
we made this acid EP. It came out on IHR early on. You probably don't even know. It's called Hardcore or something. Or I'll send it to you. I have the file here somewhere. And then he introduced me to Bad Boy Bill. So you should. He was already doing stuff with Bad Boy Bill on IHR, and he's like, "Hey, this Angel guy. You know, he just put out this record. He's got a few records out on Hyperactive and this and that. He wanted me to meet Bad Boy Bill, and Bad Boy Bill was like, "Oh yeah, he's a young guy. He's got a couple of records. This will never happen today, you know, where you just walk into an office with somebody and he's like, you want to sign him to the label?"
And no, so what label was that? The bad, because he did have a label. What label was that again?
Moody, IHR. IHR at the time was IHR, International House Records.
Okay, you said it was like the sub label was like Moody, right? That was like a brown. The jackets were brown and something. But
yeah, they had they're still doing stuff. Yeah, they had the M on the. Yeah,
and that was kind of more of your, because I think I have a few. I got some of your records downstairs. I know that for a fact, but I think one of those was one of those on Moody, and I'm for sure. But that was like your kind of.
Yeah, I did a record with Colette on Moody.
Okay.
Together. And Try Her for Love was the name of the record.
Mm.
It was very minimal, very weird. Nobody ever put out today because it was very eclectic and weird.
Right.
Anyways, so we started doing stuff on Moody, and eventually I got signed on IHR. That I put a bunch of stuff out with them. But then I was already making stuff on UC because I was doing like hard house stuff, which was what they were just doing that stuff. And then all of a sudden I had like a bunch of stuff on there under a different name, because I was signed to Bad Boy Bill for a little bit. And the whole thing was just a big mess. I didn't know what to do. I was like, now what am I going to do? Am I going to keep doing stuff with him? Then Jasper Stone came to get the record label with Jasper Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing stuff for him. And I was just sending stuff for him because I needed money. I wanted to buy more gear.
Right.
I wanted to get more equipment. And my biggest goal at that time was just get as much stuff out, to get as much gear as I can so I can make the stuff I really want to make. Because I started getting introduced to other stuff like the techno. And then Bad Boy Bill decided to do Contaminated. It's like, oh, you want to do techno? We'll start this label Contaminated, which was how Contaminated became a thing. And he wanted to get us to stay and make more techno. So that was kind of like where I decided to stick around for a little bit, and I left after my third record with Contaminated.
Okay.
Go out to do stuff overseas.
Right.
I guess I kind of broke the contract with him.
Hey,
what
happens, man?
Oh, well, there was a problem, and it wasn't a problem for me. It was more of a problem for him. The way they signed the contract was they signed a contract that guaranteed so many gigs a year through their booking agency with AM only or whatever they were using. And that never happened. And I was like, so what's going on with these gigs? And he's like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, well, either pay me the money you owe me for this amount of gigs, or I can just get the hell out of here.
Right.
And that's what happened. And I started doing stuff overseas, and he couldn't keep me there.
Right. Because
he's like, let's just call it quits here.
Right.
It's fine. I'm not gonna sit here and be mad at you because you didn't give me any gigs. It's just don't know why you signed that in the first place, but maybe he didn't think I was going to keep making music, or it was just like a one-off or something. Sure, I'll sign that.
Right.
No problem. And then I was working with Radic as well after that over at Dust Tracks. It was where I started my label, A Squared Music, right after that.
Okay.
And the funny story about A Squared Music and that song, it was never supposed to come out.
It was never supposed to come out.
No.
Okay.
It was my first song I ever did on Cubase. It was like a
First
joke.
and last, right?
First and last. It was a joke. Shake that ass and bounce that girls. I was like, oh, no one's gonna like this track. It was just like a fun track to make on this DAW I was trying to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reddick's like, let's put it on vinyl. I'm like, okay, go for it. I can't say no to stuff. Like, I didn't want to put it out, but if you really feel that strong, you want to put all that money into it, go ahead, knock yourself out. Right. So that's how I came to making music.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, everything just happened. Everything felt. When you're in Chicago, a place like Chicago, things just kind of, you're in the middle of everything. And if you're doing stuff somewhere, especially in that time, if you are not even making the best music at the time, you'll get on a record because people are hungry for content at that time.
Right.
They're wanting to put out stuff because the market was there.
That was a huge market. Like I said, like not yourself, but like
for everybody.
Everybody was. It was like 1,000 labels and stuff was coming every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
because you had a bunch of guys that are like Rick Garcia, you know, you had Bam Bam, you have all these other guys that were on UC, and you had all the people on IHR. They were doing stuff there, like Hatiris, who's up in Canada. He was doing a bunch of stuff on there. So there was like there's tons of music being sent there. And like Paul Johnson, Get Down, another good example. Like when that came out, they didn't even like the song.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they were like, if you look at the vinyl, Paul Johnson gave us a ton of music, like a buttload, like I did with a shoebox. You know, it just came in with a whole bunch of tracks, and that was on there, and they were like, we don't like that track, but he really wanted that song on there. That was his favorite song out of the whole all the tracks he gave him. And Bill was like, and Gloopty at the time, the guy, his partner. They were like, we don't know if we like the song. We're gonna put it on the vinyl. If you look at the vinyl, it's one of the last tracks on the B side of the second disc. It's not even on the first disc. If that and that tells you how very little they did not like that song. So on the vinyl, ended up being the last track on the whole record. They were like, oh, that's weird. We don't like it.
And then
it ended up being the biggest song of the.
That's probably his biggest song ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure it happens like that all the time. Like, you know, you see legacy artists and other genres. Oh yeah, dude, we were just high, or we just did that. We just do it on just to, you know, kill space or some shit, and it's like the biggest shit ever. So, you know. Yeah.
And that's a lot these days. People are so uptight about trying out new things, and this is not a complaint, this is just an observation that when you send them something like it has to be a specific format all the time and I understand if you have a label you have to stick to the format, right? But I think if you're doing techno, it's open format for a lot of different styles of techno. Right? You could do a little bit of electro, you could get a little minimal, and you could do whatever you want, because that's what I feel techno is about,
right? Especially
techno, even house music. You don't really have. It's vocal house, it's deep house, it's funky house. I hate the term for a funky house. It should be funky. It's house music, right? So I was just like, all right. Back then we had like a pretty open mind, and I think that they made a good choice of putting on the record, even though they didn't really like it that much. And I'm glad they did, because it was a big record for him.
Now, what do you think about that? I mean, since we're talking about like. Well, to techno, but just specifically like lost my thought like quick.
It's morning, man. I'm trying to stay awake.
But I mean, I should know this. I was just in my head though. As far as the industry going, I mean, now it doesn't. Maybe it's kind of getting back to that, but for a good point that there was no, as you say, like a free form of type of music. It was at some point it was, and to an extent, I think it's that way a little bit now.
Yeah.
There's really no free expression. I think everybody has this is a formula, do it. And there's very few artists. Like how many times like I hear like I get promos and I might buy stuff every now and then, but most of the stuff like it all sounds the same.
Yeah,
like, all sounds the same, and this is like, hey, this is what works. Boom, and you get a shitload of people following that because it's easier to like. I see it like
everything.
I see it like in not comparing to hip hop, but there's a formula.
Yeah.
And this is it. You need to do this for radio play. And I think that kind of went over to like electronic music at one point too. It's like, hey, this is what it is and it sells. And I've seen a lot of that, like where they kind of like there's underground scenes, but not really anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what it is. We need to make it mainstream to make money. Yeah. And I think money changed. We all like money, don't get me wrong, but I think it changed a whole bunch of things because now this is it. And it's the same, like it's the same structure for everything, you know? And I don't.
And I understand why some labels are very, because if you have a label where you pump a bunch of, well, these are going for the labels that pump a lot of money into what they're doing. Like you have a release and you have an artist and say, I grab you or, you know, the Ox is like, I'm going to pump $2,000 into promotional and pump this much money into it. You wanted to do well. And sometimes you may not sell. This is something that Hiroko explained to me, and it's just very typical of like how it used to be back in the day for bigger labels, but now it's all across the board. Like you're lucky if you sell, 500 downloads on a release, 200, or, it's not a lot. And if you're going to spend money on, and a lot of people will spend money just to lose money, just to get the vibe going for their label, right? And help out a new artist or promote it because you feel really strongly about it. But it's really hard to recoup that money these days, especially when a lot of artists don't even really know how to get publishing. I'm sure you know a lot about that. I've kind of lost touch with it personally. Publishing, a lot of labels will take your publishing. Like when I signed the Bad Boy Bill, Bill's label took all the publishing from us. 100% of publishing. And I can say that now because it's been 20 years, so I don't care. But it's tough, and I think that if you have a label like my friend Christian Smith, you know him, I've been sending stuff to him for a while, and it doesn't fit what we do doesn't fit his what he's doing. But I realized that he pays a promotion company a lot of money, and you have to make sure it does well to get that money back and to be able to recoup that money. To be number one on the top 10 Beatport chart or whatever, it takes a lot of investment, and so you have to stick with the program. So I understand why some labels do it. You can't diverge into some other weird stuff because it might ruin the flow you have going on. And it's really easy to lose that flow in the world of like you have a million songs coming out every day. Like I read an article about how many songs come out every day across electronic music. It's ridiculous. So how do you stand out? If you notice some of these labels, they have the label that has the same artwork, so you can be recognizable when you see it on the pages and the landing pages. It's all branding. It's all about being able to recoup the money you put into it. It's totally understand what they're doing.
We're doing that with Slapjack.
I'm trying to do that with Slapjack. I'm not putting as much money into it, but I'm gonna try to keep a certain look so that people can recognize it. If they're into the label, they can easy spot it, and you have a whole bunch of releases on the page, and I recognize that label.
Yeah, and then going back to what you said about kind of consistency, I recognize that label, and I like what they're doing.
So. I could mix all the records together; they all sound the same. I get that. I think as DJs, we all become a little lazy. I had somebody tell me, it's like, oh, this song is cool, but it doesn't change enough. The people on the floor, they get really bored and they need attention spans are short. It's like, yeah, but it's your job as a DJ to make it interesting. That's what people have lost touch with that. We're not making songs that do the work for you. We were making songs for you to be able to be original in your own way, right? And we lost touch with that a little bit, I think, with the whole digital side of music.
Yeah, and that's all across the board, because I know, especially like in pop music, rap,
Mhm.
pop, wherever you want to go, the songs. Remember, if you can, I remember back in the day, a song on an album or something was like at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had
Oh, you had 3-minute songs. In some cases, 4-minute songs.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what's the deal? Well, people don't pay attention anymore, or they only like the hook. Like they don't know anything else about that. It's just a hook, and that's it.
Yeah.
We've been like crate digging through all kinds of old CDs and computers and stuff, and we found a whole bunch of minimal stuff from probably like 2013 to 15, and those tracks are 7 to 11 minutes long.
Yeah, they're so long. Yeah. I've had that critique about some of the music we're making. It's 5 minutes long. Why is it so long?
Right.
Because we made it. That's our DJ style. We don't just cut stuff all the time. You know, and you like Dave Clark and Derek Carter, good examples of DJs who make stuff that normally would sound boring to you if you played it with another song in a very boring way. They know how to make it interesting because they know how to cut it, or they have that hip hop style of cutting records, you know, or just making stuff cool, and they make it interesting by being good DJs.
Yeah, I think that's my Derek Carter. Like, we used to go meet Kiko and Donnell and myself. We used to go to Chicago.
Kiko, man.
Yeah, Kiko. Yeah, shout out to Kiko. I haven't talked to him.
Shout out.
We used to go to gramophones, and just specifically to get the Derek Carter tape on a Maxwell cassette tape. That's it. You know? But as far as any DJ that I've ever heard, you know, I try to emulate him at times or whatever, but his blends and just they're perfect.
Yeah,
they can really go on for like
the DJ. You know, I used to go out
15 minutes and it's perfect.
Yeah, I heard mixes with Derek Carter or just DJs at the time, so even like Tracks or you know, those guys are amazing DJs. Lester Fitzpatrick was a really good, solid DJ.
Lester.
You know, a lot of these guys were going out playing music that you never heard of before, but they made it sound good. And you would go out and try to find the record. Like this one record, Scrappy. I don't know if you know, it's a blue record. It goes Credit Power. It's like this really weird Chicago record that came out. Derek Carter made it sound great in whatever mix he did. But when I went out and bought it and tried to DJ it myself, I was like, this is boring as hell. He made it sound good. He made that track. He was creative enough to make those two songs go somehow slam and sound great on the system that it was being played on, because they had a vision for it. And I thought I could do the same thing with the same record, but I would have to grab the same two records and try to duplicate what he did, recreate what he did. But that's never going to happen, because that was something. That's what I like about those guys. They grab stuff, and as soon as they start DJing it, they either know the track so well, or they know what's going to happen immediately, what they're going to do with the record, and they're so good at that. And that's what we forget, that sometimes the records aren't always going to do the work for you. You have to do some of the work yourself.
Right.
So the most obscure songs used to make sound great. Like, that's why we like him so much. You know, that's why we like Dave Clark so much. He used to grab obscurities and make it work. He's a great DJ. And when someone comes up and tells you your song doesn't do what I wanted to do because it's not working on the dance floor, it's because you're lazy, like myself, or you lost touch of that thing you had when you used to be a younger DJ, you know, or whatever. We're old. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's true.
But you agree, it's true. It's a thing. And hats off to everybody who's putting out the music that works for you and it makes money. But you know, that's not our goal. You know, we're not trying to make the big hits. We try to do stuff for some of these labels, and we just can't. We have our own style, and that's just gonna be different. You know.
What is this? Ian Schofield. Great. Now I want to rap.
Rabbit in a cat. Don't encourage it. It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Ian.
Yeah.
A lot of people get rabbits. You'd be surprised how quickly they're like, this is a lot of work. You have to clean up after them almost every day. You know, every other day. And cats are the same thing.
Exactly. You got to clean that litter, but I have to clean it every day. Some people I know, they can go a week, I'm like, dude, I don't know how you have that in your kitchen and you're eating at the table and that box is right there and you see it.
Yeah.
But I'm every day get it out.
Electronic litter boxes are programmed.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you have? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
yes, sir.
we're thinking about getting one of those, but
I don't know if it can hang with 4 cats.
No, I need a machine can handle 4
industrial
cats.
size.
Yeah.
Like my sister has a newer version of. I got the old litter robot, but my sister has a newer version, and I guess it can tell
Does it
between
vaporize
the
the
cat and by weight and all that kind of crazy stuff. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, it's
good
technology, So
we are the Jetsons, man.
Somebody I just seen this in some interview somewhere. It was like, yo, like crazy, like all the technology we got. If you really think about it, the Jetsons were doing this back in the 50s and 60s. And nobody really thought about it. And now we're doing everything except the flying thing in the cars. But everything that they had, we had it. We have it now.
The robot made.
Trying to make the robot made. So there you go.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah,
man. It's crazy.
Well, the robots, they don't talk back to you.
Right.
Rosie had an attitude.
That's
her name, right, Rosie?
I think so.
Unless it gets a virus, unless you have it and somehow some virus gets to it and then it starts being sassy and not listening to you. Throwing temper tantrums.
There's an episode where she with Wacko on there and she was crazy.
Oh yeah. We're that old.
I don't know though. I think I might want to get me the one like on Lost in Space. Danger.
Oh yeah.
Little tweaky Buck Rogers, the one, one of them robots, the little thing, Tweaky Beaky, or that other Danger.
Angel Robinson, yeah.
Hey Tony, that's my coworker. Hey, how you doing, man? He's been watching the show. It was pretty dope.
Tony, thanks for the support, man.
He was like, hey man, we had Santiago on. He was like, I don't know what you do and I don't like that music, but I watched the show. It kept me going. Like I was really interested and I thought that was cool. You know what I mean? I know he doesn't know anything about any of the stuff, but he actually sat and watched the show because the conversation was good. So it made me think, hey, we're doing something right. So shouts out to Tony, y'all.
Thank you, Tony.
Sure, yeah. So, you got any other questions, D?
Because it was a while
ago
back as we kept, because I was gonna ask him about Kentucky, like what's the daily life like there for you two, being there, doesn't have to be music related, but just how does it look like every day, in Kentucky where you are?
I've never been to Kentucky ever.
The what?
It's laid back.
Oh, laid back.
Yeah.
Hot, laid back.
It's about 10 degrees warmer than Chicago. There's a river that goes through it, the Ohio River, and we live on the Kentucky side, and Cincinnati's across. We live about a half a mile from downtown Cincinnati, and so it's very walkable where we live. A lot of times you need a car in Kentucky, Cincinnati, but where we are, we walk to bars and restaurants. We can walk downtown. There's an Asian street food fest going on right now.
What's the food like over there? That's what I was going to ask too.
The food's good. You already know that.
Yeah. I cook a lot at home.
We do cook a lot.
Yeah, there not as many hot dogs as Chicago for one, but we have like a really good Mexican place by us. I think so. We lived here 2010 to 12, give or take. And when we left here, there was no electronic music, like hardly any. There wasn't really a lot of like ethnic food. I don't like that I recall. But when we came back in 2019, we came to play a party and we're like, holy shit, this is a good party. And like, there's some good food here. And I think it's just really in the last 10, 15 years developed a whole lot of character. And there's a nice little scene here with like some awesome people with some good parties and a lot of young kids, a lot of older people too. So it's kind of a good mix. And just like, it's got that community vibe that Chicago, because it's so big and there's so much going on, there's not as much of that. Whereas here, there's like only so many people in the scene. And so you kind of know everyone, which is really, really nice. And yeah, the traffic is a lot better, and the weather's about 10 degrees warmer, which is all you need. So we would love to have you guys anytime you want to come visit. And
yeah, I drove. Sometimes I drove through it when I had to like go to Columbus first to relatives, and then we, just went through it to go to Memphis, because usually when I was coming home every summer, I had to take my mom down to Memphis. We pick up my aunt in Memphis, then we drive over to Atlanta and stay a few days there. But the last time, we went to Columbus first. I ended up seeing James and Kevin Kennedy, if you know them dudes. Hung out with them for a night as I was visiting family in Columbus. But then we just went through Kentucky, and I was thinking, man, it'd be nice to stop here or something sometime.
Yeah. And you have family everywhere, it sounds like. Chicago.
Yeah, I got people around everywhere. It's not like it's my first cousins, but I have a lot of second cousins that I used to hang out with as kids. But now everybody is some of everywhere now, all around the United States.
That's cool. My mom is one of 14. I have I think 50 cousins, and I'm the oldest.
I can't keep track.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, 50 plus or minus. And then they're like pretty much all around here. I have one uncle who's in St. Louis and one in Colorado now, but for the most part, and on my dad's side, they're all around here. So very close family, but just around here.
Yeah.
Myles, sound like we gotta get down there when I come home, for a weekend. We have a jam session, bust out some EPs.
Yeah. We have a techno bunker in the basement. Low ceilings, but it's like stone walls. Our house was built in 1876, so it's very old. And the basement, the sound is great. It's been unfortunate because whenever we go play, even at like clubs, we're like, it's our basement sounds so good. We're like so spoiled with it.
The acoustics down there is pretty good.
Yeah. So we'd love to, and we'll studio, and you guys can pick out a cat to hang out with.
Okay.
Yeah. They're gonna, what they're gonna do? They're gonna pick us.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna get there and up in your lap.
Hell yeah, for sure. Same here. If you guys ever come back, I mean, you're not coming to, not that I go to movement that much, but I mean, anytime you're up this way, you're more than welcome. I have spare bedrooms and stuff like that. Just come, man. Or
the yard. The yard's good for you guys.
What's that?
The yard.
Oh,
we'll get a tent back there, just like
that's fine. That's totally fine, man.
We'll move in.
This is like it's not in the winter, but
right.
That's for sure, man.
I missed that at all.
Yeah.
If you're out in Poland, if you're in Berlin and you just want to jump the train to Warsaw, just come on over. It's just about
I've been in Poland
4.5 hours.
I've been to Poland once with Pierre. I was there with Pierre.
Oh, where did you go? What city?
I think Warsaw. Where do they have the Unsound Festival?
Oh, that's in Białystok. Yeah, that's about 3 hours. No, 2.5 hours to the east of Warsaw. But you might have flew into Warsaw and maybe drove over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's D-Tech. Yeah, D-Tech, Young J and them guys. They do that festival.
Yeah.
It's nice too.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like right after Spank passed away. I helped Pierre finish the tour they were doing. And that was one of the stops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was unfortunate, and my mom is Polish.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so it's like the first time when I went to Poland, I'm like, oh, I know a little bit of Polish, not enough to really carry on a conversation, but my mom was Polish and my dad was Mexican, so I actually have a Polish last name, Winicki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Alanis is my middle name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So he's Polish. He's Polakiem. Say he is Polish.
Look at you.
I am Polish. Is that it?
I was trying to say he is Polish.
Oh, he is Polish. Okay.
But I probably said Polakiem wrong. I should have said just Polak. Even I make mistakes over here. I don't speak it fluently, but if I go to the store somewhere, I can know everything somebody's saying. But then my brain just goes blanks when I have to respond back. Because then it's like, oh, I'm trying to think how to say it in Polish, but the way I would like to say it, and it's like forget about it, especially in them government offices, where or those kind of buildings or banks. I just can't talk. But I find it funny here that if you go to a government office where you have to do something serious, like your visa or something, no one wants to really speak English there, or they pretend like they can't. But then you can go to Burger King and order a perfect Whopper or something in English. Everybody's speaking English at Burger King, but not in the government offices.
Government offices, it's like they want you to learn the language. I think it's like Berlin, same thing. I think Berlin's the same way. They try. Everybody wants to speak English, but when you go to the government offices, like you said, or
forget about it. I mean, at least now you can use your credit card, and because I used to have that problem. Like I go over there in Poland,
that was a big
use
deal.
my credit. I use the Apple Pay, whatever. But in Berlin, no, you ain't no cash. Like
they're late on that whole. They just
to my money quick. You're giving me back change and whatnot. That's gonna go, but but now you use your card in more places now. So
that's good.
That's nice.
We're supposed to go back this year, but we'll have to skip it this year. for reasons I don't want to talk about on this channel. But.
You brought it up.
Yeah, well,
I don't know,
the
man.
whole immigration thing, the immigration thing.
That and I'd be kind of scared of these airplanes right now. Like, what's happening? Every time you turn on, look up, fire! They had to, deplane the plane. Like,
like 2 airplanes mid collision, or they clip their wings, or some. Random thing, it's interesting.
It's still pretty rare.
Do you think it's because he fired all those people, all those qualified people, or just?
I
don't
think,
know.
I think stuff happens, accidents happen, and now there's more attention.
More magnifying glass on it.
Yeah.
So there'll be more reports on it. I think
because overall air travel is very, very safe. But now, like when they had that story and they could find any small aircraft disaster, accidents.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
but I don't agree they should fire people. But I think it's more of a, they're catching more stuff because it's the news, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they do, So,
but right now with people coming on visas and then, leaving and getting back in the country, it's just America's in a bad place with all that right now. With people getting turned away and deported and stuff. It's horrible what's going on right now.
That's crazy.
And luckily, I have a Polish last name, so they will be looking for me. I feel like they're using AI to just look for Sanchez's and it's crappy. But
I've actually heard that they're doing that. It's just whatever pops up, and if you're like the names that they're looking for.
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
Doubt it.
Pretty fucked up, to be honest. But
times, but I think these will get better. I think it's not sustainable. Everything that's happening,
Right.
I don't think it's sustainable. I think there are more people on the right side of everything than there are people on the wrong side. That's what I believe.
I think you're right, but I think the problem is nobody's speaking up.
And I think that's starting to change a little bit.
Yeah, they starting to some of them courts. No, you can't do that.
You can't deport 2-year-old kids that are U.S. citizens. First of all,
he just arrested the judge.
He what?
Oh, the arrested the judge. Yeah, it's not sustainable. I didn't want to get into politics here, but you guys understand. You guys watch all this unfold, and you're like, yeah, this is not going to last forever. It's not something that people are going to be happy with. It's not sustainable, and I hope everybody ends up. You can't. People are angry, and I hope everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
Point.
That's true.
It will. Just needs to cool off for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something happened.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys got coming up in the near future? What do you guys got going? Like for a tour, in a gig, music? What?
We're gonna play in New York in a couple of weeks at a festival.
At a little festival. It's not a big deal, but it should be fun. I think Heather Hart's playing, and Joski, a bunch of old school cats are playing that.
Agent Orange, and then
Agent Orange. He's playing the day after us. It's going to be a little bit north of Albany.
Yeah,
it's Lake George.
And then a bunch of remixes, like Lester Fitzpatrick. We did a remix for him coming out on UKR. That'll be cool.
Lester.
Yeah.
No, I was playing with him recently. That's why I keep Lester.
Yeah.
I have a story about Lester, but I'm not gonna bring it up. I can tell you. Okay, I will bring it up. That guy, when I first met him, He blew me away because I went to his house. I don't know how I ended up at his house, but I ended up at his house, and he had again shoe boxes full of music, like kind of what I was doing. He was just cranking out like 5 songs a day.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a machine.
He still does.
He still does.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had his NPC. He was just I was like, wow, this guy is prolific and amazing, and I want to be like him. And like after that, I just like I need to be able to make that. I'm good with an NPC. I should be able to make music fast enough, right? And that was always a thing with me and a lot of guys in Chicago with the NPCs. We just crank out music because it was so the process on an NPC is so fluid and easy. Well, once you got the hang of it, anyways. But he blew me away, and I was just like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like I just gotta make tracks. I just gotta bust these things out. It's no time like the present. I'm like, bingo, and yeah. So I've always loved that guy. He's always been kind of an influence on me. When he's putting out stuff on tracks, on Relief, all the stuff he did on Relief was really amazing. A lot of that stuff doesn't really get a lot of play anymore. I wish that it would, because that was a really big sound for Chicago. The tracky, not so hard, kind of like jacky stuff. Very analog.
It always worked on the dance floor. Always.
Yeah. That sound should come back. Just a very tracky Chicago stripped back sound. Nobody's doing it.
Well, yeah, somebody will be doing it, Maria.
I know. I know. I'm like, I keep trying to get you to do it. What are you talking about? No one's doing it. He's the problem.
Yeah, I'm the problem. Yeah, we're planning on just toning everything back down. Like we're not really loving the hard sound that's happening now. So we're trying to tone it back down to like very Chicago-esque sound. And
we've been doing some houseier stuff. What do we have coming up?
Did a remix on Mozzie's label.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's coming out. It's more like a filtered disco thing, which is kind of the thing I'm probably known for.
Yeah.
We have something on there. We have for this guy Wise. What's his name? I have to look it up now. We have so much stuff now. What have them out?
Yeah.
Do.
What kind of more houseier stuff?
Yeah, it's houseier stuff. We have something for Gabriel Palomo. You know him?
Okay.
Chicago. It's coming out on his label. It's kind of a more, not minimal, but it's houseier sounding remix we did for him. We're doing a lot of remixes.
Remixes are fun. Like I love hearing other people's stuff and getting inspired. It's kind of more fun than originals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's
Rhyme
more inspiring.
Meridian. It's coming out on a label in Chicago. I think it's called Cheap Talk Records.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so many record labels you can't keep track. Cheap Talk, and we have a remix coming out with Frankie Vega on my label, Slapjacks, Strange Planet. Yeah. We're doing the promo for that here really soon. And we have a remix for Ghetto Blaster. Okay. You know him? Yeah, it's something that's coming out at some point. This track's called Acid Ice Cream. Yeah, when I first saw the title, I was like, "What am I getting myself into here?" Acid Ice Cream. It's really cool. He had the vocalist from I forget the vocalist, but he's done a few records. He's just like it's just talking about acid. It's pretty funny. Okay, I'll send you the track.
Yeah, we'll send you guys a pack of shit.
Yeah. I've been finding a lot of music in our hard drives, like I said, stuff that should have been finished, and we're trying to knock those out, get those done, because why let it sit in the hard drive, right? You have to get it out.
Right.
Yes, get it out.
Yeah.
I got a fellow Chicagoan, Chicago Skyway. Sean, you guys know Sean?
Chicago? Yeah. Skyway, yeah.
I'm assuming this is directed towards you, Miss Maria. It's more tracky stuff.
Oh, no, I'm trying to get him. Yeah, got it. I'm working on it, guys.
Doing
my best.
Working on it. Yeah.
We also had Josh Mosley giving you guys his praise.
Oh,
Josh, love you, Josh.
Yeah. Thank you for checking us.
We go way back. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the OGs right there.
Word.
High school, like way back.
Towards what's Sean saying?
Oh yeah, we all need to make tracky stuff.
Yeah.
That's the lesson here.
Yeah.
If we've learned anything today, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone wants tracky stuff.
Just a very easy tracks that just bang it out, but don't change much. But you can mix it in and out of whatever you want. You want to drop like a over that, that's the thing that we're trying to get into. Just very easy tracks to mix with. I think that was the appeal for me back in the day. A lot of the music I was making was DJ friendly, but it's predictable. But a lot of the music back then was as well. That was like it had an intro, had the track do the thing, then a little break where you can mix out of it. Then it came back in again if you want to keep it going, or you could do doubles and then go back into. It was the thing, and trying to make stuff DJ friendly again. That's kind of the goal. A lot of our stuff, either DJ friendly or a track that just does nothing, but you can mix in and out of it whenever you want.
Right, like a
tool.
Yeah.
Like a tool, basically. A lot of people are doing these 4 turntable things now.
Right.
Back in the day, it was like 3 turntables, 4 turntables. Now it's like 3 CDJs, and you want these tools to be able to be creative if you want and do your own thing. If you choose to do that.
Right.
If you choose to do that. Where's the breakdown? I don't know.
That's cool. All right, guys, we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark. So
that was fun, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We answered
Thank y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What time is it in Poland right now?
It's 6:25.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we just 6 hours ahead because you're on the same time as Michigan time, right?
No, they're an hour behind.
No. Where are you?
You used to be an hour behind.
Right.
They should be on the same.
My bad.
This noon, yeah.
It's just 6 hours. It's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Hopefully we'll visit you soon. We'll get out there soon.
No, it'd be nice. Like people are starting to come because like even some friends from Berlin that I'm gonna come over there, and lately now they're starting to come. Stay a weekend or something. Like Myles, you remember Sebastian, right?
Yep.
The guy that stays in close to Hermannstrasse.
Yeah.
Ponierstrasse. Yeah, he came actually last weekend.
That's cool.
For the first time, and he was like, I don't know, I had this thing in my head going to Poland or something, and I'm like, dude, you've been in Berlin almost all your life. You never thought about just taking a train over here? And I so many times I come to Berlin like all the time. Sometimes I don't even tell people I'm there. I just want to go to the record store, just work on music with like Tim Xavier or somebody, and then later someone might see me somewhere. Oh man, I know you was in town. Let's go have coffee. Yeah, right. You're not gonna meet for coffee. Come on.
The trains in Europe are amazing. You can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Something we don't really have here, which is sad.
I know, right?
It's so easy.
It's not as easy.
Go to sleep on the train, wake up in your destination.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like that. You got to have your car, or you don't want to go on a bus really. And the train too, it's not really going the way you go. So you need to drive. Where there, even when I had my car that I got rid of, I found it easier just to take the train because I just get downtown and basically I get off at Alspinhof. I'm like right pretty much in the middle of everything there. Anyway, and it's only 5 hours on the train. That's great. And I don't have to drive, stop at the gas station or pay the toll road. Wonder if the police are going to stop me when I come into Germany. Like they do every time in a car, you coppers. I don't know what it is, but every time I come in to Germany from Poland, you stop in my car and they see the American passport. Oh, okay, you're free to go. Free to go from what? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I stopped.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing out what it is, but
but on the train too, though, they ask like right on the border in Poland coming in, they want to see that passport coming in, like right in Germany. Sometimes I try to play a little like, I didn't. What did you say? Like, man, one of the guy last time I said passport. Okay. Oh, okay. Thanks.
I don't even want to talk to you at this point.
Right?
Yeah.
You're American. Get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for taking the time to come out. We love you.
Thank you so much, man.
You both,
Yeah.
and hope to see you guys soon. Like like Donnell said, he's coming back this summer. So I mean, we're down to travel.
We would love it. We would love
hang
it.
out, do whatever. So
This summer.
Yeah. I was just there. I was just there in September. I took my mom to Hawaii for like a week when she was having her birthday. So
Okay.
we were, and then I went to Colorado, did some stuff. So I wasn't around Kalamazoo as much as I wanted to be. But this summer, I had planned to come and try to stay like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, we would love it.
Yeah, if you guys want to come down, maybe we could do a little tiny show here or something.
That's
this
cool.
together.
Down,
Yeah.
bro.
If you give me a heads up, I may do a little pop-up techno thing or something.
Okay.
You know,
For sure.
Bang
All
out
right,
the EP.
everybody.
thing on RDP. Yeah.
Right? You can do that too. So,
All right,
oh, good.
What? What?
Well, yeah. So everybody, thank you for tuning in for MS Live. Welcome. And say, see, I keep losing my train of thought. But anyway, we want to thank our guests, Angel Alanis and Maria Goetz.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Love
The
you.
hand claps.
Thank you for tuning in. So make sure you tune in next week to MS Live. More things are happening, and it's good. And until then, everybody, peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace from the heart.
Yo, yo.